All right, darlings, should you be worried or should you not? The internet will have you be spinning with all of the drama around this movie, but I'm here to tell you, it was pretty good. Hey y'all, today we are reviewing Don't Worry Darling, Olivia Wilde's newest film starring Florence Pugh and Harry Styles. If you've been paying attention even the slightest bit, I'm sure you've heard something about this movie. It's had a lot of coverage lately in regards to different drama, behind the scenes, actor changes, and then it really had a viral moment at the Venice Film Festival, quite honestly, for a variety of different reasons. And I am happy to report that this movie was good. If you were paying attention to reviews after the Venice Film Festival, critics were dogging this movie. Like, it was getting horrible ratings across the board. Seeing bad ratings for a movie is one thing, but receiving those at the same time as all the drama of the film, that sent a lot of people into like, concern about the movie. Like, everyone was worried, darling. Like, I know you told us not to be, but we were. However, I think this movie was actually really good. It was extremely enjoyable. Compared to some other films I have seen recently, it was an entertaining movie, and as Harry says, my favorite thing about this movie was that it's a movie.
My favorite thing about the movie is like it feels like a movie
that you go to see in theaters. I do feel like there was an element of seeing this in a theater with other people, turning to one another when certain things happen in the film. Mr. Styles was not incorrect about that. Speaking of the stars of this movie, Florence, do I need to tell you that she was incredible? Probably not. This woman is such a queen of this suspense thriller genre. I feel like there is so much about this role that you can tell Olivia Wilde saw Midsommar and said, yes, we are casting her. Despite her immense popularity, her talent is just extraordinary, and it is on display in this movie for sure. Of course, the other big name in this movie, Harry Styles. Harry was not bad at all. Harry's clearly the least experienced of the cast. Like, not that he has really a bad moment in this film, in my opinion, but I definitely didn't find him to be distracting or his acting to be like so subpar everyone else. I think it's just when you're working with someone like Chris Pine or Florence Pugh and they're just like stellar in every aspect, it's gonna shine if you have a few imperfections or maybe certain things aren't delivered in the perfect way. But I think the film was incredibly smart about his character, Jack, Alice's husband. He has a role in this film, which I don't want to dive into spoilers, but his role is kind of used in a way that suits Harry's acting abilities well, in my opinion. I feel like it was a way to go about it to allow him to be in this movie, show off some of his talents, but not have to really put him under a microscope by following his character the whole movie and making a lot of the emotional resonance of it rely on him. But the scenes where it did require you to feel for his character or he had a big dramatic scene, I think he delivered on really well and they worked for me. Although there were a few times throughout the movie when he's like saying or doing something that I had to turn to my friend and say like, oh my god, that's Harry Styles. There's that inherent giggling that happens because he is such a well-known star and not just from acting. I will be interested to see if he continues acting, how long it takes for him to be seen as an actor in a movie rather than Harry Styles in a movie. But I do think that this film, again, was incredibly smart and intelligent by using like the paratextual understanding that the audience has of who Harry Styles is and his icon status in this movie and to this movie's strengths. So this movie, let's put it plainly, it's selling you the fantasy of if you were in a fan fiction, you're Harry Styles' wife and you just happen to live in the 1950s. I feel like there's an element there that the film really plays up and asks for you to kind of buy into. And so I could see if like that's something that you don't understand Harry's fame necessarily, or the reason that like he seems like the perfect husband and all of this sort of stuff, why that works so well. I think just for me being a longtime One Direction fan, it was just icing on the cake to an already good movie. I have to be honest, there are plot holes in this movie. There are a few things that you're gonna look up and say that was predictable, and it's not perfect in any way. But does a movie have to be good? Absolutely not. Olivia Wilde has been very upfront about what her inspirations for this movie have been. I won't say them here in case you have a very limited knowledge of the movie, because I don't want to imply anything or spoil anything about the movie, because I do think it's a great, really fun time to watch. But she's been very open and honest about what her inspirations are for this movie, what her purpose is, that even if there's some times where I wish she was slightly more subtle for the overall quality of the film, or I feel like there were ways that it could have been pushed to be even more unique and individual. I think the kind of the amalgamation of all of those inspirations, whether they be film, television, or just other stories, I think she does a really great job, and it's really pulled off well here. Again, there will be times you'll predict some things, but there were a couple things I definitely didn't see coming. Like, even if I was like, okay, this is what's gonna happen, it happened in a way that was still entertaining and didn't make me feel like, oh, okay, I waited for this and it wasn't satisfying enough. Like, I do think there's enough moments, if you're really buying into the film, as I said, and there to have a good time, that you're going to appreciate. And I am not one to say, like, don't pick apart a film. Like, I think it should be picked apart, but this one is one that I feel like a rewatch would really allow some of those choices in the beginning that seem like a little showy or a little confusing as to why that choice is being made, whether it be cinematography, which was beautiful by the way, or camera motions, or just different editing techniques. Thinking about the movie after you've learned what the whole movie is actually about, some of those choices in the beginning become a lot more meaningful once you've seen the whole film. So there might be times when you're watching it and you're confused, but I feel like it's a great film to allow for some analysis, but to pretty much understand the story the first time you're watching it. Like I said before, it's not perfect, it's not the most original movie, but I always love to give credit where credit is due. Media is not made in a vacuum. This is not going to be perfectly individualistic, but overall, she's used all of those inspiration pieces to create something that is wholly new and interesting, and I highly recommend you go see it. But tell me in the comments down below your excitement level for this movie, if you've seen it, your thoughts on it. Please be sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed my review, and if you'd like to see more review content like this for television and movies, please be sure to turn that red subscribe button gray and hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you have an absolutely amazing day, and I will see you in my very next video. Bye, y'all.